That's why
You
there's
have to.
service stuff too.
Yes, sir.
I'm saddened to hear some of the discussion and the disrespect. I've had meetings in your office. Your predecessor knew nothing about medical care. I met him 4 times. I have over 100 publications. I ran the laboratory at Bridgeport Hospital for 20 years. A consultant came in and said Yale should run the lab like I did. I live what I believe I should do. I had opportunities my father didn't have. Now, this bullshit about what he just said. I've read the economics. I read deeply into not just Krugman. There has been very little innovation over the last 60 years. There's been innovation in medicine. One of the problems is it's been too successful. And I say it's been too successful because it's really a not-for-profit business. People don't understand that there's no such thing as a market in medicine, although it's discussed in Congress. But the technology, like radiology, it hasn't been paid for by volume before you're spending more. So I can't talk about the military, although I left as a commander, and I didn't want to go through another war after the Vietnam War. I do know we have too many troops all over the world where they don't belong. And we've subcontracted a lot of military, to consultants.
What is your question, sir?
Yeah.
Well,
I need more than an hour and a half, but you can't.
I'm saying that the issue is complex.
How about if you let me, I'll try to
It is complex, and if you people are so stupid and ignorant, you don't read. I know what it costs. I have 3 patents.
Okay, great.
And I'm going against IBM. I have a patent that will reduce the budget $60 billion.
Good.
And the only way we can keep going, the only way will be if we have educated people.
That's right.
What kind of a world do you want your grandchildren to have?
That's why I'm
You
here.
want them
So I
to
can
be...
talk about it.
All right.
You don't care about your grandchildren. They have to have an education, and you have to have taxes, and you have to have a functioning community. You don't care about your community.
Thank you, sir. All right.
And I mentioned teachers because this gentleman has patents and ran a lab. We ought to all agree, it doesn't need to be Democrat or Republican, we ought to all agree that we collectively did some pretty darn smart things. 100 years ago, we put in place a public school system because every kid should get educated. States did land grants to create the University of California, University of Connecticut. This stuff had huge payoff. Huge payoff. You know, it was us that developed the Internet. I don't know if it was Al Gore or DARPA, who it was, but we invented the Internet. You know, it's us that started the IT revolution. It's us that has led, the U.S. that has led with medical research, usually because we take very educated people. Maybe we give them a little bit of research grants out of the government. Maybe not. Maybe Bristol-Myers Squibb funds it. My point is simply that this stuff is economically valuable. And we should have the argument about, do we want an $800 billion a year military apparatus or a $400 billion a year military apparatus? We should have the argument about exactly what Medicare covers. To my way of thinking, I'm a Democrat. I will go to my grave saying that Medicare ought to make sure that no senior citizen in this country doesn't have access to some very basic health care. That doesn't mean that I'm going to justify that the Medicare system will do a hip replacement on a 95-year-old person who may have 6 months to live, which it does right now. I'm not going to justify that the Medicare system has a lot of waste in it that we should find. This is the discussion we should be having, I think. And it's fair. And it's fair. Whoa.